Hello and thanks for staying on LN 24/7. This is Politics Now. My name is Morno Balagbogbo. Today we'll begin with the PDP internal wrangling. It's been weeks and weeks of drama, crisis, misunderstandings, back and forth. And the party that, is supposed to be the opposition to the All Progressive Congress continues to go down the drain of political drama. Well, today we'll be unpacking all that is going on. We'll start with the tussle over the National Secretary position and then get into February NEC meeting and resolving crisis. Our guest tonight is no stranger to the PDP. He used to be a member of the People's Democratic Party, and now he will be speaking with us as he has connections within the stakeholders of the party and will be giving us his perspective, talking about nobody else but Michael Lanre Tuluhi, political analyst and former member of the People's Democratic Party. Also today on the program, our conversation on the Boko Haram Insurgency 15 years after continues. Our talking points will revolve around the recent Borno military base attack and why insurgency still persists in the northeast and ending terrorism in Nigeria. Our guest today will be joining us live in our studio, Simon Reef Musa, a public affairs analyst and the editor at Leadership newspaper. We'll take a quick breather, and when we come back, we'll get into the matter for today, talking about the PDP internal wrangling. Do stay with us. The crisis rocking the People's Democratic Party is showing no sign of abating. Ahead of the 2027 election, the PDP will have itself to blame if party leaders currently engulfed in a battle of supremacy fail to give peace a chance. Now, ever since it lost power at the center in 2015, the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has been struggling to regain the fame that once made it arguably the biggest political party in Africa. Shackled by the chains of its virgin, the once dominant party's fortunes are at an all-time low, even as some political pundits now see the Labour Party as a more potent opposition to the ruling All Progressive Congress, PDP. Now left with just 13 states after the 2023 general election, the PDP in the 2024 off-season election lost Edo to the APC and failed to win the Ondo governorship election. Now, despite the crisis occasion in the party following the death of Governor Rotimi Akeredolu, that was a chance that they had, but still they could not get that ticket. Well, the People's Democratic Party's elected governors called for an emergency meeting on Friday in Asaba Delta State. They were received by the Governor Bovary on Thursday. Now, the purpose of this meeting is to redress the challenges that's plaguing the party. But these meetings, do they really do anything? I guess will be helping us make sense of it all. Well, let's give you a recap of the drama that happened on Wednesday. The acting national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Umar Damagun, on Wednesday said the crisis rocking the main opposition party is being filled by party leaders who are supposed to unite them. This was what he said at the BOT meeting. Now, Damagun, speaking to the members of the Board of Trustees in Abuja on Wednesday, emphasized that he will do everything in his power to ensure the PDP National Executive Committee meeting takes place in February as requested by the party's Governors Forum and other party organs. In his remarks, the board chairman Adolf Walbara expressed frustration over the crisis, and he cautioned leaders not to let personal interests and ambitions take precedence over the party's well-being. He stated, and I quote, "This meeting comes at a time when the unity, focus, and direction and ideals of our great party are being tested in ways that call for reflection and decisive action." Now, according to reports, several PDP board members, including former Vice President and 2023 PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar and former Vice President Namadi Sambo, former Senate President Dr. Bukola Saraki and National Chairman Uche Secondus, amongst others, were absent in this meeting. Now, let's not forget the drama that ensued at the party's secretariat over Okoye's appearance at the board meeting. Recall the appeal court sitting in Enugu on December 20th upheld Ude Okoye as the PDP National Secretary. However, last week, the Court of Appeal in Abuja issued a restraining order directing Anyanwu to remain in office until the Supreme Court resolves the appeal. Now, let's hear some of Okoye's sound bites.
Very bright, and I'm very fine. Are you getting me? And I am National Secretary of PDP.
So what are you officially assuming duty and taking over your office?
I've already assumed duty.
And taking over your
office? On 30th of December 2024. I did that. It's everywhere.
So when are you going to start operating from your office?
I've started, sir.
But during the BOT meeting, Chairman?
No, I was on the table. Are you getting me? I came there.
I was there. I didn't see you.
Well, maybe I haven't come that time. You were looking at the table. But when I came, I was seated at the table. And the BOT, if you check the list of those who attended the meeting, my name is there. And if you check even the list of BOT members invited, my name is the number 46 in the list. So
you're confirming to us that you were invited by the BOT earlier?
Which National Secretary are you talking about? Is it me or who? I am the National Secretary. So, I think maybe we didn't get the BOT chairman well. The BOT chairman said that it's going to be resolved and a committee has been formed. He even mentioned the chairman of the committee.
Recall at the Northeast Zonal Caucus meeting of the party, which held on Thursday in Bauchi State, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar was conspicuously absent, and acting national chairman of the party, Umar Ilia Damagun, called on leaders to share their thoughts and reduce all infractions and division. Adding, interest is paramount. We are all in these politics for various interests, but the most important thing is that you only realize your interest when your vehicle is very strong and it can take you to your destination. You cannot go anywhere if you don't have a solid vehicle. All right, let's bring in our guest, Michael Toluhi, joining us from the UK. Thank you so much for being with us.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
So what do you make of the new dimensions to the PDP crisis as witnessed at the last board meeting on Wednesday at the Secretariat, still on this Okoye and Senator Nyawu's cling to the position of National Secretary? I mean, quite a drama. Okoye was actually almost manhandled at that meeting, even though Senator Onyawu, according to reports, apologized. So let's start from there.
The truth is, the PDP crisis is lingering too much. This boils to the fact that some people are just so selfish. Some people are selfish, greedy, high-headed, and they think themselves God. Because I know some will say, okay, BOT in their wisdom, because BOT has shown that they are the conscience of the party, so they cannot force anything on the party. They can only advise. In their wisdom, they are invited. You know that I want everybody to know that Bill Okoye just didn't go to the BOT meeting because they felt he's not a member of the BOT, and he just didn't go. He was invited, and that was born out of the wisdom of the BOT, knowing that Bill Okoye had armed himself with the appeal court judgment for him and affirmed him as secretary of the party. And they had invited him. And in their wisdom, they felt okay. And I know that Senator Samuel only called some daddy, armed himself with the fact that he got a state of execution injunction from the Court of Appeal. So he's laying claim to the secretary, of the National Secretary of the PDP. But to tell ourselves the truth, you know, some daddy left because we must understand the genesis of this. is because Daddy left and said he wanted to go contest the election in Imo State. That's good. Even we know how he did it and did that frustrated who would have won it for PDP, because we all knew that Emeka Ihedioha would have won that seat without blinking for PDP. Where I'm twisted is Razu is we because it was a for claim to have the party ticket and went, and he lost woefully, performed woefully like nobody has ever done. Quite unfortunate for him. But whereas he was by claim to contest for election, the members of the Southeast Caucus are deliberated and are nominated Udogwe to fill the seat of the National Secretary. But when he lost in his outing, which we all knew what happened, that for some of us, we knew that he was not going there to win, he went there for business. And then he came back and wanted his, so there was a lot of scuffle. You want to come back to my office, you cannot come back because you have gone. And he went to court, High Court, Abuja. Then Udogwe went to High Court in Enugu. These are court of is it competent jurisdiction, how the lawyers complete. They have the same thing. I can't remember how the lawyers used to call it. Sam Iron bought a judgment on his behalf, or in his favor rather. Udogwe got a judgment in his favor. Sam Iron was the one that appealed the court of appeal in Enugu to appeal the judgment. He went to appeal, and the judgment came in December 2024 and was in favor for Udogwe. So Udogwe presented himself back to the party as the secretary. Now, Sam Daddy went to appeal that. And the president of the appeal court, in her wisdom, brought the case to Abuja. And I brought the case to Abuja. And don't forget, and said, is it local standing, whatever? I don't know the legal term for it, which means everything stays, the status quo is what it is before they go start. They have their nothing good for it. And don't forget that, and she said, and she brought the case to Abuja and said the judgment will be passed on that on January 27th or 28th, where thereabout. I think 27th. And judgment has not been passed. So what it means, if you ask any lawyer, they will tell you that stay of execution lifeline has expired. That stay of execution is gone. So as at the time they had the POT meeting, if we are in a country that obey the rule of law, or if PDP used to be the PDP, we know there is a PDP of rule of law. Udogwe is the secretary of the PDP as at that time.
Now, would you say Atiku's absence at this meeting speaks volumes about the distaste of Damagun's leadership? Because from what you've been saying and the conversations we've had prior to now, you've always, said this crisis is solely, hinged on Damagun's leadership. So Atiku not attending, I mean, what does that say about, the ties to Damagun and Wike all, kind of factoring into this lingering crisis?
Atiku is Atiku. See, the truth is you cannot solve a problem. You cannot be gathering and look, if you and I have a problem and somebody is calling us to have a peace meeting, and I'm grandstanding saying I'm not going to shift my ground, and you are grandstanding that you're not going to shift your ground, but one of us is grandstanding not to shift his ground, there's no need for the meeting. The truth is, I guess the man is not just coming because he knows when you have somebody like Ambassador Damagun in his pretense, in his hypocritical self, knowing that he knows what he's doing, come and talk. Nowadays he talks. He just talks without control, and he says all things because I think he has a new set of people telling him what to say. He just come and say, but at times I think he does not even pause to look here. Yoruba people will say before you talk, at times it's better you speak into your hands and smell it and see whether the talk or whatever you're saying is smelly or not. Because if he listens to himself, you know that he is the problem. He's the main problem of the party. And that's why the lack of Atiku Abukola would not want problem there. Because when you go to these meetings, And when you see them, and when they sit down, they talk, and the man is saying the problem of the party is the leadership you're not doing. You are the chairman, you are the acting chairman, and you know that you are illegally occupying the seat. This is the man that, look, he has taken the BOT to court. He has taken the NWC that is a member of the court. We even saw him blaming the NWC. The man is a failure. He does not even have a grip of even the NWC is meant to be presiding over. Is that the man that wants to preside over a party as large as PDP? A party that produced 3 presidents, a party that held power for 16 years, a party that took Nigeria from ground minus, that brought Nigeria from the minus to ground zero and improved on it. This is a man that is a failure. See, it is so, if you look, the man in a sane environment should not even be a class captain, because it shows that he lacks everything that makes one a leader.
Now, let's talk about the meeting that the PDP governors had earlier today to discuss the way forward regarding the party's challenges and also the state of the nation. I recalled on Thursday, Governor Bovary was talking about national unity. Now, how do you work towards national unity if your party, I mean, the party that brought you into power, is not in good shape?
Yes. See, the truth is the PDP governors can play a good role, a very big role, a major role in revitalizing the party. They can, if they want, and I think they have the political will. But you know, because you see, their governors and their leaders, they probably are thinking of 1 or 2 things to do and try to be matured and try to be tactical in their approach in how they carry out these things. But believe me, if they really want to solve this problem, yes, they will move, but there might be a deep, it might be tough. There might be a deep dive in how things will come up. But they have the will. I think they have them shown, because if not for the governors, believe me, I think there will be no PDP by now. I think it will be tough for them because of some things, you know, that different individuals with different alignments, with different reality line, different places, different ambitions. So they're just trying to work his own pain. But if not for them, it will have been tough. We've seen. But you see, at the same time, too, I think it's not that the party really does not need the governors or the ministers or the past ministers. If the party really wants true leadership and true or viable opposition and try to play what they need to play, I will call on the members of the party. Because when you ask yourself, how many so-called members of the PDP pays their monthly due, their annual due? How many of them? Maybe that is maybe that is actually the most of the issue. The fact that members don't pay their annual due, their subscription that they meant to be paid, then someone will just come out and pay and think she is financing the party and therefore she called the shot. Because I think if every member of PDP pays what they are meant to be paid on a monthly basis as a shrine in the constitution of the PDP, the party will be funded by the members. And if somebody wants to come and be a Santa Claus to give and give beyond that, he or she will know that he or she is just giving beyond what he or she should be giving. You don't want to link him to the structure. Know that everybody has that food. But once somebody knows that nobody pays, he or she is the one footing the bills, paying the overheads, and running the back office of the party, he or she will probably want to control the structure. So the members should be the one actually taking the charge and taking the party. If the members take their party, it will be easier for the governors, because the governors will see, because the members ended up to be signed in different states. You get what I'm saying?
Now, Damagun is insisting that the NEC meeting will hold this February. Do you think it will hold, and will these challenges be resolved? I can see you smiling.
Well, thank you. Was that what I just said? When I say Damagun is the main problem of the PDP, it's what I was playing. This was the things I look at. Since he assumed office as the acting national chair, the man has deliberately refused, it's deliberate, refused to call the NEC. And as the constitution of the party is enshrined, the constitution of the party is only the national chairman that can call the NEC. We all know that. Now, this man has refused to. The only NEC he even called, that was the only one that he called. Just so. And since then, the man has called NEC numerous times. I can't even recount again. And every time he has postponed them. Damagun has postponed NEC over flimsy excuses. Damagun has postponed NEC because he had headache. He has postponed NEC because his dog gave birth. He has postponed NEC because he woke up and the stars were not too good. He had postponed NEC because it wants to rain. He has postponed NEC because the sun is too bright. Damagun, I don't see the NEC in February holding. He said it in the BOT that the NEC is sacrosanct, but we know that Damagun will postpone the NEC. He will not hold the NEC because the man is a power monger and he knows he's not qualified. So because he knows he's not qualified, he knows he has no ability, he knows he has no capability, he's going to hold on to power so that he can cause as much damage that he has been. He is air-bent of causing.
Mr. Michael, beyond Damagun, what would it take to have the party back on track ahead of the election 2027, which is already around the corner? I could recall one of the PDP chieftains in an interview saying that Peter Obi should be consulted. How does that solve the crisis?
You see, that's the problem with people. Whether you have Peter Obi or you have anybody, if you don't have a structure, you can't win election. And that's always been one of the major problems they had too. When they think people don't like the ruling party and automatically use for people to follow them and vote for them. Now you are not gathering yourself. You are not even shown you can maintain internal democracy. You can be just and fair to your own members. You can follow your own constitution. You think Nigeria will vote for anybody that you bring. Now, Damagun led NWC had done nothing but to go against the constitution of the Federal Republic, the constitution of the party. They have not seemed to follow the rule. So why would anybody they present have people killed after such person? It's not about bringing Peter up. It's not about bringing back Jonathan. It's not about bringing out anybody. It's not about bringing anyone. If PDP wants Nigerians to vote for them, if they want Nigerians to believe in them and vote for them, they need to show that they are a party that they once were. The party that the founding father in 1998 founded. The party that belongs truly to the people.
All right, many thanks for being with us. We will definitely be on to this lingering party crisis in the PDP. Thanks for being with us, Michael Toluhi. To have a lovely day.
Thank you for having me.
All right, we'll take a quick breather. When we come back, we'll delve straight into our ongoing conversation regarding the Boko Haram Insurgency 15 years after. You don't want to miss out on our next guest joining us live right here in our studios. Just stay with us.
What makes the political system what it is today? What are the recurring issues?
Order.
The tussle for power.
An extremely problematic area.
The tension. The instability of the system. Join Ellen 24/7 as we take you inside the local and international political arena in the world of politics.
Apologize for saying that I was corrupt.
I'm not here to call out his lies. Everybody knows he's a liar.
Watch politics now. on LN 24/7.
Don't miss Politics Now on LN 24/7.
All right, many thanks for staying with us. This time around, we are moving on with the conversation regarding Boko Haram insurgency in Nigeria, most especially, of course, in the northeast. Our talking points, of course, will revolve around the recent Borno military base attack and also why insurgency still persists in the northeast, and finally ending terrorism in Nigeria. Our guest, Simon Reef, public affairs analyst and editor, Leadership newspaper, is with us to make sense of this. But first, let's bring you up to speed on what is happening in the country regarding insurgency. Now, do recall that 22 soldiers, including a commander, were killed in an attack at the military base in Malam Fatori at Abadam local government area of Borno State. Malam Fatori is a border town 2 kilometers from the Nigerian border community, Boso. Now, sources reported that the attackers who stormed the Malam Fatori military base wreaked havoc for several hours. That was on the 24th of Friday, 2025 of January, before dislodging the 149 battalion survivors of the deadly attack reportedly fled to safety due to intelligence sources confirming that the insurgents arrived at the base in multiple gun trucks and razing several buildings and military operational vehicles during the assault. And of course, the Nigerian military has also corroborated with what has been said, with the defense headquarters saying the incident came during a clearance operation at a renowned terrorist stronghold enclave known as Timbuktu Triangle. And he said the three long operation was aimed at dismantling the terrorist presence at the triangle, and it began on the 16th of January to the 25th of January. I mean, it began on the 16th of January and, of course, till date. Now, Buba said the troops killed over 70 terrorists, including some of their commanders during the operations. And, of course, there's been multiple reactions to that. But let's get straight to the conversation. And with us live in our studios here in Abuja is Mr. Simon Reef Musa. Good to have you again with us.
I'm happy to see you once again. Happy New Year.
Same to you, sir. All right, it's quite the journey moving from President Goodluck Jonathan's administration. I think that was the height of the attacks from Boko Haram. And then Nigerians voted President Muhammadu Buhari, for the sole reason that security was going to be tackled. And still yet, all through that 8 years, we still saw lots of activities from Boko Haram. And then into the President Tinubu's administration, it was as if, okay, there was a lot of progress. There was actually progress, but then last week's attack in Borno military base of the Nigerian army, where almost 22 soldiers' lives were lost. I mean, when you look back through these 15 years, the progress that the Nigerian military has made and the resurgence of these attacks, this is not the first time. Recall the other police station attack where also officers were killed. So how do you assess this development, sir?
Well, for us to understand the present dialectics of how Boko Haram has defied solution, we need to go back to the beginning. I recall in 2009, I was one of the reporters that went to Maiduguri after the killing of Yusuf Muhammad, the founder of Boko Haram. Of course, people should understand what is the source, what was the basis, what was the philosophical leaning of Boko Haram. They started more as a religious group, because Muhammad Yusuf was advocating for justice, for equality, for Islam to be practiced the way it should. And of course, education had become a source where iniquities, injustice has been unleashed on society. And with the name Boko Haram means education. Boko is education. Haram is forbidden. But again, when I visited his home, where it was destroyed by the military, you had DSTV, you had modern technologies here and there. But I think he was looking at, I mean, the political class, how they have sort of unleashed injustice on the poor masses and made life difficult for them. We all knew what really happened. At the end of the day, when the military got him, they handed him over to the police. From the police, before you know it, he was killed. So the death of Mohammed Yusuf, who is the founder of the Boko Haram movement, led to so many stages. A lot of things happened. Politicians came into it. A lot of factors. And I also remember there was a commissioner of religious affairs who was then serving under the administration of SARS, Shehu and Sharif Modu, who was then the governor. Somehow he too was killed. So the question we need to ask ourselves is, how did we allow Boko Haram to fester nearly 16 years after the death, after the killing of Yusuf? Now, whether we like it or not, Boko Haram has come to stay. Not because the government has no capacity to stop it from operating. No, there are certain people in the loop of power.
So you're saying
that are using it,
yes,
either for political renegotiation or for certain factors that some of the security people know about it.
So you're saying the basic foundation of Boko Haram, which initially was religious, is no longer religious. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. It's not religious. Yes, people will tell you that, oh, they are now with ISWA, Islamic State for West Africa, or for Africa. You know, the whole idea of Boko Haram, of being a religious organization, sort of has been tempered with tremendously. You have an unwillingness on the part of rogue security element to eliminate the organization. I tell you, there was a time in the life of the administration of Muhammadu Buhari, Chad approached Nigeria that they should have a collaborative effort in order to really stamp out Boko Haram completely. But the then government said no, they never wanted it. And under the administration of Jonathan Goodluck, before the coming of Buhari in 2015, there were a series of efforts embarked upon to ensure that that organization was really stamped out. There was nothing, not effort. When you bring the forms, I mean, the order for Jonathan to sign, he will sign, and they were telling him that he was only trying to kill Northerners. He was trying to kill people that he ought not to kill. And we saw all those things. So I can tell you without iota of doubt that Boko Haram is still in existence because the security forces are yet to allow, the political class has not resolved the decision to stamp out Boko Haram.
Now, when you say that, the military are the ones who are on the battlegrounds.
Yeah.
So how are the political class, refusing the military for doing their job? Because we saw increment in budget provision. Yeah. Even on Tuesday, the Senate committee was also advocating for increased budgeting for security. Yeah. So with all of that, why are we still... How does that, because you would expect that the political class is supposed to take care of legislation to be able to enable the military have the necessary funds that it needs to tackle this menace. So how do you substantiate your claim that the politicians are the ones not allowing this menace to go away, if they are not directly on the field?
Well, let me tell you, I met a general who told me that the very moment you resolve...
A general in the Nigerian army, presently serving.
He's retired, no.
Okay.
He's a top guy. He told me that the only thing stopping the elimination of Boko Haram is the political will, the political class. Now, the political class is under the military class. Now, as I speak with you presently, I have people that are serving in Maiduguri. Just by this side, you have the military troops, and by the other side, you have the Boko Haram. The question you ask, if you know where these guys are living, and you also know the source where they unleash attacks on the military, why can't you go there and take them on? The people on the field will say, yes, we need to have an order from the military. It was very clear, and that was time very, very clear, that during the time of Buhari, you see a road manned by Boko Haram on one side, and the other one manned by the Nigerian military.
Side by side.
Side by side. It's up to now. See, these people we are dealing with, the Boko Haram people, they are not spirits. They have a place carved for them where they operate. So the question you now ask, why is it that the troops cannot take the war to them? 16 years after the killing of Mohammed Yusuf, Boko Haram has continued to unleash attacks on the military. So there are so many questions. And that tells you that insurgency in the Northeast is simply a system that has been put in place for the benefit of some very, very few people. They may be in the political class, even some rogue elements in the security forces may also be involved. Because there's no form of justification. We spend so much money on insecurity, but the place is not yet free of insecurity. Is it that these people are so... All we hear from the military is the killing of terror members of about 60, 70 week in, week out. But we now know that it has also proliferated to the northwest, where you have Bello Turji, who has been on the run for so many years now, and there are reports that the military are tracking him. They will soon arrest him. Yesterday, I read a snippet of a report that they were just closer to get him. Some others say, no, he has been arrested. But the truth of the matter is that the man is yet to be arrested. So when you look at insecurity as another focus where people game the system and access money, you're going to be wrong. Because, see, the Nigerian military is one of the strongest military we have in the world. They've been sent to Sierra Leone. They were sent to other countries where they even fought groups like Chastello and others, and they succeeded. Why is it that they can't simply run over the ragtag Boko Haram?
Now, I don't know if you saw the Chief of Defense Staff's interview where he talked about the fact that foreign sponsorship is also part of the problem. As from your own observation, do you think that's more than enough to sustain Boko Haram activities in spite of the military efforts so far?
I have watched his interview. I've also known that there has been this allegation that foreign conspiracy is involved. I agree with it completely. But let me tell you, nobody can force an insurgent group to do what Boko Haram is doing without the collaboration of insiders. It is the responsibility of the military to fish out collaborators. But more importantly, are the people, are the community you are trying to salvage from Boko Haram, are they involved in the fight? That's the question. See, when you armed a community, they'll go after them. Of course, we'll have this joint task force. But how effective is that in dealing with the problem? One fundamental thing is if you need to end insurgency in this country, you must eliminate Boko Haram.
Now, I want us to move beyond the federal government now to the state level, still regarding this issue of Boko Haram, most especially in Borno State.
Yeah.
Where would you say the state government failed? Because the federal government can give you all the resources that you need, but how does the state take a hold of this particular problem and deal with it once and for all?
Well, the failure, one fact is, if you look at the security architecture, a governor has no right to even order the police commissioner, even a DPO, or even a brigade commander. So what can only happen, the only words the governor can do is to collaborate with the authorities in Abuja. I think the state government, whether we like it or not, previously, not just this one, is looking at the issue frontally and getting communities to be involved. Communities are not involved in the protection, in the preservation of their security. They are the ones that are being killed. When you involve them, definitely they will rise up. Of course, there are skirmishes between some of the previous states governors and the federal government, but that does not give an allowance for the laxity of security we have seen in Borno State. The state government needs to rise up. It is their people that are being killed. So one is happy that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, whether you like it or not, is out to deal with insurgency. But he cannot do it alone. Northerners will tell you, oh, the North. The basic problem of the North are the leaders. So when they start all this screaming of tax reform bills, this and this, if you don't run your economy into a productive capacity and make them to come out, all you do is to depend on oil at the end of the month.
Now, when you talk about empowering local residents to take up the responsibility of securing themselves, which was what Sir Samson, the guest I had on the previous edition, where we're still talking about this topic, made mention of. Now, the whole issue of state policing has been flaunted out. Does that work? What you're suggesting now, is it within the confines of state policing, or that has to be different?
Now, when you talk of state policing, my fear is that governors will turn it into their armed gang against those that are opposed to them. That's entirely my fear. Because in Nigeria, we are yet to understand the basis of our nationhood. The political class, those in charge of our politics, I've always told you that Nigerians have outsourced democracy to the political class. They simply sit down. We don't run a participatory democracy, but we run a democracy that is guided and done for the benefit of a very few class, for their own interests, their family, and their cronies. So when you now give state police, when you now approve of it, I can tell you, and it will almost be what you see every now and then, the governor will take charge. Even though, of course, I'm yet to see, except the National Assembly does something that the control of the appointment of the commissioner and certain things that the state can do and certain things that the state governors cannot do. If it comes out, fine. But I have a fear, I have my own fear and suspicion about state police. So the whole idea of this engaging locals, I'm even not doing a whole, no. Get people that are professionally trained. Not this hunt. Of course, hunters too can play a very, very big role, because I was aware during the time of Buhari, there was this Hunter Association of Nigeria. They have their membership in all of the 36 states, including FCT. They came and told the president, we can take care of this insurgency. All what you want is involve us. You know what? They don't just depend on all this your arm. They do certain things that is out of the space. These kidnappers that I'm telling you, they are afraid of hunters more than the military. They have done it in so many states. So what I'm talking of is that we should engage locals, including hunters, because they are the one that know where all these people are resident. They visit them, and they go to them, they know where they are, and they can always get them. But it seems they are kind of a shield. These criminal groups are being shielded, because you have to wonder, how do they get their provision? How do they get food? How do they get water? How do they get on logistics? So it's like it has become an organized criminal setup that people are benefiting. So that is it.
Now, when you look at the tactic that the military has deployed in so far curbing some of the operations of these insurgents, there's some people who would want to call it reactionary, because when you look at some of these Boko Haram infested communities, you know, it stems from a lack of proper security presence in some of these communities, and some of these areas are probably border communities. So until there is an attack before military presence comes there, how do we solve that particular gap?
I agree with you. But one fact you should also know is that we will never have enough boots on the ground. We will not have enough soldiers. We will never have enough military. But I also agree with you that if we have proper intelligence gathering, you don't just sit down. And I agree with you also that it's reactionary. Most of the effort the military do is reactionary. But I'm very happy in the last 2 or 3 weeks, there has been synergy between the military and the DSS headed by Mr. Tosin, the new man. The new man that he has really changed so many things. Why I liked him more, I was impressed when he removed anything like a spokesman for the DSS. Why do you need a spokesman for the DSS? Why do you need a Department of Publicity?
You know, funny enough, I was speaking to a very senior security expert, and he was mentioning the same thing, saying that the military is doing too much talking. That why is the chief of defense staff, going on media interviews? So do you also fault that?
I fault it 100%. The actions of the military should be seen in the safety, in the security of the nation. There are certain information you will let out. And if you let out those information, it will compromise.
Like the one he said about this man that he said he is willing to surrender. Is that not divulging covert information that can be used?
Well, but now you see, we have too much people talking when they're supposed to be on the table walking through the night. Before the coming of Tosin, you find people that are marks, they'll put DSS. DSS is secret police. So when you now carry this thing of DSS, you are not even running against your own objective. What we need is a review of the intelligence gathering process in this country. People are more interested in coming out and say, hey, this is what we have achieved. Just like politicians that will come and tell you that they have built 20,000 housing units in their state. But when you go down and probe it, you'll find that those ones are just on the pages of newspapers and nothing more. They are just claimed. So one will argue, because security is a serious matter. It's better to be silent and do your job quietly than to always come out, so that you don't put people's life on the road, put them threatened. So I want to see a synergy of the military and the secret police working together, getting local. There's one thing, the police, they had the issue of a CID. You know, when we were living in the 70s, you discover that somebody will be staying there. They'll have, who is him? But he's staying there, you don't know who is him. You discover that, he's working for the police, he was working for the police. Do we still have that now? No, because we run a system that is, that is oppressive. When people are in DSS, when they are in the military, they want to oppress you. No, you don't need that. You don't need that. So why we are here is there are a lot of factors that have contributed to where we are today as a nation. Not just in the military, almost everywhere. try to go to get admission for your daughter or son in the university or polytechnic, and you will find out so many things have changed. It's not all about merit. It's all about who you know. And these are things, these are little things that is bringing down this very country.
Now, for security chiefs who are not performing up to par, do you think the president should have them removed from that particular position? Because I recall during his media chat, it was something that he was very keen on. He was like, I mean, they rose through the ranks, and it would be like absurd, I'm not quoting him verbatim, to let them off. So where is the place of accountability in terms of security architecture in Nigeria, even when you talk about the financing?
Well, to me, what the president needs to do is not just to put people around to continue to be there because they rose through the rank. The question is that, have they performed? You should have a certain goals for them. You should have to tell them, say, hey, by so year or by so period, I don't want to hear insurgency. If you cannot do that, take him out and then bring another person to continue. But you cannot simply continue to say that, oh, these people rose through the rank, they've shown competence. Their competence should be manifested in the manner they have dealt with the issue of insecurity. So they cannot simply sit down, the president cannot sit there, just simply be content in telling Nigerians that these security chiefs, the question is that, have they achieved the goal set up for them? Because if we don't do that, we'll continue to have all this insecurity and so much billions and billions of naira, dollars that are being sunk in security, not much will be felt. All what we hear is that, okay, we've gone down 2-3 weeks, there's no attack, and the following day, we had bam, and then it will also bring us back to the last stage that we had been.
Now, when you look at the issue of the Lakoroa terrorist group, we've not even finished dealing with the Boko Haram, and there's another one on the horizon. Now, not to dwell on that, but to pick something that has to do with the sustenance of these terrorist organizations, because like the leader of Boko Haram has been killed. So how is this knowledge and this vision of the so-called terrorist group being passed down from one particular generation to the next, given the time gap that they have been operating in? And you look at the example of the Lakoroa terrorists, whereby you had residents who had to go to Niger to get armed men to help deal with banditry issues within their communities. And that led to, because of that simulation and that interaction, I mean, they became something else, and also causing security challenges for the country. Is that what has played with Boko Haram in terms of, you know, having successive people take up these disastrous operations?
Well, insurgency is failure of government, whether we like it or not. It is a business of government to ensure
people are safe,
security of lives and property. I think that is a major task of governance. Any other thing is secondary, because if the people are not secure, they cannot even fight. They cannot even fight for their economic well-being. But when people's lives are being killed, communities are being decimated, and a lot of things happening, then you understand that we have a big problem. Now, the emergence of Lakoroa on the Nigerian scene is because of lack of enough boots on the ground. The people there were faced by so many criminal gangs. So when this Lakoroa came in, they said, hey, can you help us? And they said, yes, we can help. The Lakoroa group has been there. It's been mentioned, but not much of a security present to checkmate their activities. So with time, they begin to go beyond just protecting people from the criminal gangs. They now even had to question the religious practices, how Islam was being practiced there. I think there's a report that I read somewhere that they even killed one of the imam in the mosque. So they were simply appointing people, so it became a bit religious. Now, the question I ask, why were they not operating in Niger Republic, where they hail from? It's because there is effective intelligence gathering, and they're being regulated, and they cannot do something to violate the laws of the land. So with Nigeria, with all the laws, you had a group, a very small group, coming to take over a large swath of the place and beginning to influence the thinking of citizens. Because when government is not there for the people and there is a group that offers protection, government will be there. You are also aware that in Kaduna, even in Kaduna State, people pay, the farmers are forced to pay protection fee to access their farms when it is time to go to farm, and also pay another fees to go and harvest. That is done. So you now ask, what is the responsibility of government? Are they another form of government? Do we have a government within a government? So it's simply the failure of government. Now, I'm very, very sure if Mohammed Yusuf had not been killed in 2009 or so, Nigeria, the security forces will have gotten enough information on how they can track down things. But because some people felt that somewhere, somehow, certain things will be nipped in the bud, they killed the man. And once they killed the man, Boko Haram was now infiltrated by criminals. And to also tell you that as the thing went, because whether we like it or not, life in Nigeria is difficult. If I can't get a job, and somebody calls me and says, hey, I'll be giving you 100,000 naira. Something I have never dreamt of, to be a member. I'll go there. This one, of course, they have so much money, they have funds, other people that are interested. And of course, we've even seen Saudi Arabia, they have even tried some of these insurgents and also imprisoned them. But in Nigeria, have we done that? The last time
we've had them, some of them even reintegrated into the society.
No, you see,
do you fault that? Could that also be a problem?
No, you see, the integration of murderers, of killers into the larger stream of society is not the best option. Of course, I'm aware that a lot of them, some people say, oh, we are for...
They call them repentant insurgents.
How did you arrive that they have become repentant? How, I mean, are you not sure they label themselves so that they can get back to the stream to get more information that they can feed out to their other comrades out there to unleash a devastation you've never seen? So it's not a horrid job, it's not a horrid thing. But why this is that Nigerians, especially some Nigerians, some of our youth that cannot have access to job, and they see an opportunity in joining Boko Haram, they have to join. You even discover that even this so-called kidnapping, whatever, is done by youths that don't have job. And worse still, we have a nation that have been thrown materialism. Just have money, money, and money. So when you have that nation, like Nigeria, where with money, all your sins are forgiven you, then definitely we have a very long way to go. That is what I see.
We're out of time. Thank you once again to our special guest, Mr. Simon Reef,
I am no longer a media advisor. I don't believe in all this socio-cultural stuff. I want to be just a journalist. I want to be a journalist. I'm back to school. I'm doing my PhD in public governance and leadership. And the problem of this country is beyond socio-cultural, because everywhere you go, even in this socio-cultural group, some people are making it as a platform for realizing their political ambition. And I'm not such. If you want to work for the interest of people, work for their interests. But when you also use socio-cultural platforms for this, and that is why I have renounced everything socio-cultural in my life. I don't want to be a journalist. I want to just, maybe when I finish my PhD, I want to just be a teacher, okay? and just be a writer. That is just what I do. Thank you, Mana.
And that's the most that we can take on the show today. Our guest has been Simon Reef, public affairs analyst and editor at the Leadership newspaper. And that's the most we can take on the show today. Thanks for watching.